spiritual radio. This is achieveradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/achieveradio.
Hi, how are you today, Joe?
I'm fine. How are you?
Great. Well, it is another Monday, and it looks as if the rain is just perfect here. It's kind of dewy and kind of just, I don't know, it's very lush. Everything is beautifully lush.
Same here. Yeah.
And it's
we've had a lot of rain, and we had some work to do outside, and we had to delay it. But we spent our beautiful Memorial Day, or not Memorial Day, but we did spend that doing work, and we also spent Sunday doing a lot of work. And we had to paint windows, and it's important. We have a lot more storms ahead. And we have to be ready for them. And the yard is gorgeous. The yard is gorgeous.
Oh, I know. It's
green, green, green all over the place.
I know.
I love it. Yeah.
And the lilac bushes around here are blossoming, and everything. The hostas are about waist high right now, so it's just amazing. So
we still have lilacs too, because we have different varieties, and so we still have. That Yeah.
Did you plant those, Joe?
We did that when we moved in, and because there was nothing here. There was nothing. So we have a nice big fence of lilacs now, 7-8 years later, and it's worth it. It's beautiful, and we keep adding,
One of the things about lilac bushes I've noticed is that you better prepared that you're going to have a monster.
Yes, that's what I like about them.
So if you're going to plant a monster, my neighbors just got through planting 3 of them fairly close together in a small space between our houses, and I'm thinking, I'm not sure this is going to work, but I guess we'll see. So
it takes a long time for them.
It does. It does.
Monstrous. I'd say I worry about it maybe in 5 years, and they could be trimmed back,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, today I thought we would
be able to see you today.
Yes. Why, you couldn't see me before?
Well, it was an audio show last time.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Because Skype played some games.
Yeah. Everybody's finding that the changes on Microsoft are going faster and faster than people can keep up with, which is hard if you've got a professional radio show, or, people have to redo their settings, and for people.
Absolutely. And tech isn't easy, especially if you're dealing with a constantly changing situation. It's very difficult. It's actually not as easy as it was when you had the analog.
Yes.
Because analog was just simply what it was. That's it. No programs.
Yes. Well,
and I hear your dog.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
All right. I'd have Bugsy here if he fit in my chair. He doesn't.
I have a St. Bernard Pyrenees. And the one thing about Pyrenees, they used to be dogs that watched the flocks for shepherds. And they were never tuned into being with people that much. I mean, very independent dogs. They go outside, they turn their back on you. You say, come on in. And they just turn their back on you. And it's like, no, thank you. And it's like, no, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be the one that's the boss, you know. But anyway, so
Border collies can be like that, too.
Who?
Border collies can be that.
Oh, are they independent like that?
Well, yeah, they could be because they herd sheep. They're hardwired for rounding up.
They have to work.
You know, and yeah, you know, they have to work. I have a mix. We have a mix here, so he's not as hardwired to do that. But he does have his way. He is independent. He is very independent, but also very affectionate. And sometimes when he's feeling insecure, he will be around us a lot, you know, for some reason. And other times he's fine on his own.
Yeah. And they're not necessarily a Velcro dog.
Sometimes. Rarely.
Sometimes?
Yeah. He has his moments. Yeah, he has his moments.
Yeah. Well, I thought today we might discuss telepathy. And I have both the scientific description of what it may be. Obviously, dogs are very telepathic. In a group or a pack, pretty much they know what each other are thinking and can, maybe it's just a combination of reading body language or whatever, but if you watch a pack of dogs, they really do tune into some mysterious language that only they can hear. And
their senses, their physical senses have a lot to do with that. The hearing and the nose are extraordinary on canines. And there's a lot that they can pick up going on in your mind by what they can hear and what they can smell. And because sometimes that creates that aura around you that they become physically aware of. And I know sometimes all I have to do is say to myself, without even speaking it, I'm thinking of taking Bugsy for a walk, and then he comes right in.
Isn't that crazy?
I didn't whisper it, I didn't say it, I just had his face in my mind, and I thought, we're going to do that, and then there he is. And maybe he doesn't know what, but he thought something good, and he came in, you know. And I think, yes, he can hear me opening the dog food lid from clear across the yard, or maybe not. You know, maybe he just knows what I'm doing.
Yeah, well, you know, they have made experiments with dogs that knew mysteriously what time that their owners were getting off work, even if it had nothing to do with a regular pattern time. Mm-hmm. So they would have people get off work at a certain, you know, they would go their typical 5 o'clock at night or 3:30 time. And then they said, well, let's experiment and have you do it at 1 o'clock or, you know, whatever, change the times around. And the dogs just knew. They somehow would immediately get on the couch and start looking for the owners at whatever time they were getting off work. So there is definitely a mysterious tuning in, like a radio, into...
They can feel us.
They can feel us.
Yeah, they seem to know when one of us in this household is out, and we have a ballpark idea of when they'll be back. But Bugsy always knows, even like say about 15 minutes before they get here, he's already telling us that they're coming. So
right.
Yeah, I think that there is something to that. I think I wouldn't be surprised if it was telepathy. I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm always also curious. They say that for those who look for Bigfoot, why is it that we can never find them? You know, and if they are
Because they know we're looking.
Yeah, they know we're looking, and also they may be telepathic, and we're just any kind of looking is they're tuning into, and so they're not going to stick around. My feeling is that there are. I saw something on. I don't know. It was one of these paranormal. Catching things on camera type things that from people having so many videos and things like this and what's going on in the background type stuff. Well, this was different. This was, that chain of cattle that were having their blood sucked out from them.
Yes, that's very weird. Yeah.
I
heard about that.
They found a very bizarre, had been seen before creature, which somehow it died. Somebody's dog got it or something. But it was the size of probably a huge jackrabbit. And it had an ant pincher type face with centipede type pincher legs. And they took it and they put it in formaldehyde or whatever,
Wow.
And they took it to get its DNA. Well, evidently it had been out of the DNA, out of the bottle, not, had done some decomposing. And they said that the guy looked at it and goes, it looks like, what is a malsupini? Malsupini? What is that?
I don't know what that is.
Well, it sounds like a kangaroo, but
marsupial?
Yeah,
but something
marsupial?
maybe related to the marsupial family?
A very grotesque meat-eating marsupial. But they said they had never seen it before, but they couldn't test it because the formaldehyde had become too acid, and all they could do is hope that another one showed up. But I thought that was so odd, and just like, how many of those are out there that we don't know about, and where did they come from? And my feeling is that just like finding those things, the one thing that always escapes us that's worldwide is this sightings of sorry about the dog.
That's all right.
I am an animal rescuer. I'm an animal rescuer.
Oh, I don't mind.
So it is constantly here at Marie's Safe Haven, we do have dogs barking. So, so my feeling is that there perhaps telepathic abilities
I think so.
are something that is in Yeti, but I do believe that there is something called telepathic love.
Mm-hmm. I think that's possible.
Well, or the telepathic connection between family members or twins.
I think if you are very close to people, and if you have an emotional connection to your family members, your close friends, and it's the kind of thing that you're so close to that remains. Like, say, no matter how far away you are, you're still close to each other, and whenever you get together, all those warm feelings come right back because you are still very close. And I do think that sometimes you might a person could sense if they're okay. Or my advice is, if something pops into your head,
check on them.
Check on them. The worst that can happen is you're wrong. So at least you did check, and you acted on that instinct. Now, there are some people that a person might not know very well at all, and so I don't know. I would say, yeah, it's possible.
Well, if you believe in
the nice connection. Yeah,
if you believe in the
kind of connection.
If you believe in the concept of twin flames or soulmates, or that two people can have such an incredible connection that somehow they are just able to somehow feel each other's presence. I think all of us at some time in our life have had a person in our life that maybe they were because of relationships, or because they were the fish that got away, or because they were just circumstances would not allow it. There's always this sense that through time you feel their energy, and I believe that is just as possible as a dog tuning into its master. Master, that's such a weird name. Tuning into its owner or whatever. And I feel that the bond between a mother and a child is extremely telepathic. But one of the things that I thought I'd look into here, it was a blog post, and it was said how to know when someone can't stop thinking about you. Now, I know you're a cynic, Mr. Joseph, so just hang in there.
Well, now, I am what you would call a skeptical person who has an interest in all of this, and I also do read cards. And but for the most part, I think I am somebody who doesn't readily just believe anything without some sort of validation. Right. But however, now about the feelings that we have for how people are thinking of us, I have to say I do have very strong feelings sometimes that I think maybe I have connected with somebody, and that they're thinking about me at the same time. But because I am a skeptic, and plus too, there are times when no, that's not so. That's just me. So, and a lot of times too, you don't know if you ever really are actually connecting with somebody, because a lot of times people don't want to say that because it's kind of a weird thing to say.
Are you thinking about me?
Yeah. Are you thinking about? But it's like. You just don't know. A lot of times you do know, though, when you go to pick up that phone. Now, this has happened, and it used to happen more so with the old-fashioned analog phones, okay, where you go to make a call to a friend, and you pick it up, and there's no dial tone, and you hear, hello, it's them.
I know!
You picked up the phone before they had a chance. It's the same person that you wanted to talk to. That happened, and you could say, well, in a random... Yes, it could happen randomly, certainly, but sometimes it's just a little too packed to be just boring.
Yes.
We're talking about electricity, and I do believe
which is what the paranormal is based on. Which is everything is based on that. Life is about electricity, life is about energy. So.
And I do adhere to that. And so I'm not that much of a skeptic, but I will be if it's something. I think it's healthy to be a bit skeptical, I think, just a little bit.
So here is what this blog said. And have you ever asked yourself why you just can't stop thinking about that person? Well, they just may be thinking of you too. Bear in mind that all of us are psychics in one way or another. And for this reason, when you connect to another man or woman in a deep or intimate way, you actually connect your soul to theirs, or their essence, or whatever you want to call it. Most people do not realize this, but take note that each and every one of us is clairsentient, regardless if you know it or not. What this means is that you have the capability to feel another individual's energy or feelings. Take note that this can be positive or negative. Now, I'm going to say here as a reader, and I'm sure you've had this also, there are people that become obsessed about someone and believe with all their heart that another is thinking about them in the same way when they are not at all.
Right.
So there
that
you
happen. And that is something a person needs to be aware of about themselves. Is that,
right.
are you the type that tends to just, think that all the time? And sometimes they do focus in on the obsess, and they just simply can't believe that that person hasn't given them a single
Oh my gosh, how can it be?
Yeah.
And then when they come for a reading and find out, when they come for a reading and we tell them what we see, and it may not be that case, then they can be extremely bummed out. But usually we'll go into denial.
Or they won't believe it.
And we'll go, yes,
they won't
right.
believe it. Yeah.
So anyway, it
that's
says,
why when I say I might feel that way, I also know that might not be so. So it depends. It's really hard to do these things for yourself too, because we have our own emotions tied into it. So I always figured, unless you have some sort of validation, then it probably isn't true. But that is my take on it. I did read the article. I think it's interesting how you feel the physical signs. I like that.
For example, they say you are hanging out with your friends or acquaintances, and you're laughing, cracking jokes, or dancing inside some bar or club. Then all of a sudden, fear falls on you, or you experience an abrupt surge of sadness. This means that someone, most probably someone who is very dear to you, is either thinking of you at that exact moment, or in some cases you can be experiencing a death, or you can be experiencing a truly horrible time in someone's life. You're probably doing the same. That is why you are encountered unexpected emotions. It is important to note that if you are abruptly developed a sense of sadness, there's a chance that the person who has you in his or her mind is sad about something, maybe the distance between you two. But in line with this, it may also be complemented with guilt, anger, or some other mixed emotions they're going through that you're picking up on. So, that's something I think...
Have you ever felt that sudden wave of sadness?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I have had that too. A lot of times. Sometimes it would happen in the middle of the day for no reason at all. Everything's great. We're having dinner or something. And I might just feel like, wow, where is this coming from? And it just made me really depressed. And sometimes and then that person comes to mind. And then I might think, maybe I should just drop them a note or something and just see if they're okay, But sometimes they are. But maybe they just had a horrible moment, a horrible emotional moment, and you happen to catch it,
Right. And one of the ways that you may also experience a symptom of picking this up, this sadness, is through hiccups. Which there is a scientific explanation for hiccups. For a time being, your diaphragm as well as lungs are out of sync, and they develop when your diaphragm unexpectedly touches your lungs. But bear in mind that there is also a divine explanation for the mentioned interruption. In other words, something that put it out of sync. If it is not romantic, it could also be picking up something else that is putting it out of sync. So what it's saying is that I very seldom get hiccups, maybe 2 times a year. And for me, if I get them, it's always quite unexpected, like in the middle of something that I really am trying to make some kind of impressive conversation, and then it ends up happening, and it's silly. But for me, that is in the fact that hiccups are related to telepathy, no. But in the fact that hiccups could be created in conjunction with a sense of picking up.
Response to it.
As a body's response. Right.
Yes. Yes.
And so that's...
I don't think somebody is saying, I want to cause this person to have hiccups. I don't think that that's what's, specifically, I don't think that that's their intent.
No,
no.
But
that's the result. That's what, that is what's
your
happening.
body will react in little weird ways, it's saying. When sometimes you're unexpectedly picking up energy, emotions from somewhere outside of you, which is also a characteristic of being empathic, right? Empathic,
So.
picking up emotions. And sometimes I think that if you're very empathic, they can be from the world. They can be when something really horrendous has happened in the world, and you're...
or like if you have... if you're not happy with what's going on in the world, and it seems like every day you hear some new turmoil, and you hear something absurd and totally awful at the same time on a daily basis, it's going to have an effect on your health,
Right. Yes.
Especially if you're empathic, because then you just want to, it's just horrible,
Yeah, I really think that part of any psychic or empathic person is to learn how to try to block that out. But if it's a world situation, so many people...
hard to block it out.
Hard to block it out, because it almost seems like it's a universal feeling. So
it's become part of the air, so it becomes something that... But it's safe to say, I would say I did frequently always have hiccups when I was younger, and I always hated having those, because they just are something that's annoying, and I have to say it is very rare now in my older age.
Which would say that perhaps if it was emotional, that you have learned the ability to block what bothered you emotionally.
A bit of a callous. You get more calluses over time.
You do. And I noticed this. What was it? Somebody was saying the world is going through rage, weariness. They're just tired of being in rage. And so they say the amount of protesters has kind of gone down. The amount of people that are fuming and there's just a lot of people have just experienced so much rage, and so many that never really were ones to express hatred or dissatisfaction, have just gotten to the point, kind of like when you see too many kidnappings or too many murders or too much political dissent or too much political crap. You just get to where you go, here we go again,
Well, what I find is even if I'm hearing the voice, hearing people talk, and I agree with everything, all that they're saying, it just doesn't stop. And it's just like, all right, I agree. I just don't want to hear it anymore. Now what do we do? And that's what basically my problem is. Because I hear a lot of pundits, and some of my friends listen to a lot of talk TV. And yes, the programs are good, and yes, I do agree with what they hear. However, it just goes on and on and on, and I just don't want to hear it. It's like yes, I hear you're preaching to the choir, and I agree, but beyond hearing it, it just doesn't stop. So
it's just one more opinion. Just one more opinion.
It's one more thing. Yeah.
And it gets to be where opinions are a dime a dozen, and I feel that it is important to, now please understand, I'm sure not downplaying psychic readings when I say that, but what I'm saying is that when when you get to the point, like you say, where everything around you on TV and radio and your friends and the local cafe or the local post office, whatever, everybody's got an opinion, everybody's angry, everybody's got a side, you really do start to feel almost numb.
Well, when you say to somebody, how are you? And they say, well, I'll tell you how I am. This government. And it's like, well, okay.
Right. No, I'm sorry. I want to know about you. Let's keep the government out of it.
I just want to know how you're doing. Overall.
Right.
I don't want to know about what the world has done to you.
Yeah. I agree.
We don't have the time.
Yeah. It almost gets you afraid to ask that question,
Yeah, you don't want to say anything.
I've grown
it's good to see you.
I've grown very gifted. I've grown very gifted at saying, "Hey, how you doing?" and walking at the same time, and whatever brief conversation is said in the air. It's like you just do it when you know that you're in that mood. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, sometimes it's just best to say, it's really good to see you. And not ask them how they're doing. You look wonderful. Well, I feel like crap.
I know.
You never know what you're going to get.
My back, my foot. Yeah. I don't know. It is what it is. And so my opinion is that there's 1,000 million trillion opinions out there. Everybody thinks they're right, and everybody will tell you why they're right. And it gets to the point where a lot of those opinions are based on rage against the system or against unfairness of society or just based on the need to be able to express an opinion. And I think that after a while you do get weary of opinions, weary of rage, and so be it. So be it.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Yep. So it's an awfully quiet day today in the room, and
so if my left ear is burning, do you remember what that would be?
Let me see. There was something here that said
something about the ears.
Oh yeah. Okay. Itchy palms, burning cheeks, itching, burning sensation on ears. If your right ear is feeling itchy, then chances are someone who is dear to you really believes in you, or he or she is speaking highly of you. Now this article is starting to sound trite. That's starting to sound. It's cute, but...
It's cute, yeah.
However, if your left ear is itchy, then someone is probably discussing your blunders and is degrading you. Here's one that I always laughed at, but I find myself going, oh, I hope it's true, is itchy palms. Mm-hmm. Regardless if it's your left hand or right one, itchy palm sometimes means that an individual far away is thinking of you, or I always heard that you're going to get money. Sometimes, though, if there may be money involved, an itchy left palm means that you may lose money, oh my goodness, in the coming days. While an itchy right palm means that you may obtain money. See, this went just from being a really fun article to being...
right.
superstitious, housewifey stuff. But summing it up says, there you have it. Some of the signs that suggest that someone is thinking of you in a positive or negative manner. If you want to obtain more concrete power, then just look it up in your browser or call a psychic. And that is something I do want to encourage anyone today during our time left over to call 602-666-6027. We won't rage, and we will not give any opinion that is not about itchy palms or twitchy eyes, and we'll just tell you the facts of what we see. So,
although, you know, if you drop a fork on the floor, and that means that a young lady, a woman might come to visit. If you drop a knife on the floor, it means a man's going to visit. And if you drop a spoon on the floor, a child will visit.
oh,
And that's one
my
of my
goodness.
mother's. Yeah, that's one of my mom's favorites. And
Oh,
of course, it's never happened. I mean, I drop things all the time and have people. It's not Grand Central Station here, so
no,
thankfully.
no. It is a fun, all of these things are fun, but I also find that a lot of these things take the wind out of the sails of getting a psychic reading, because there are many psychics and there are many intuitives that look at this more as a way to just make money without really becoming skilled at what they do. I am of the belief, if you're going to be a spiritualist, and in most cases, your spirituality is not about making money or making a huge amount of money. Although there are people like Dorian Virtue or people like that that get lucky.
Yeah, I can't believe that they're asking for. However, I always believe, well, if you're going to do it, try to do it right and try to do the best you possibly can. Because if you did say, I'm going to reading, well, then try to do it the best you can. Really do try to give a good reading. Try to give a very accurate reading.
Right.
That's how I feel about it. I am glad, though, I did act on an instinct where it was years ago, about 20 years ago, and it was one Sunday I decided I think I should visit my mom and dad today. And it just hit me out of the blue, and I think I should go and visit them. And I'm glad that I did. We had dinner, we had a nice time, but it was also unbeknownst to anyone at the time, but it was the last evening that my father would be alive. So sometimes if you feel out of the blue that you really should contact somebody, I'd say, hey, do it. You won't regret it. The very worst, if you're wrong, they'll say, no, you're nuts, I'm fine. So, and that's okay too. But I'm glad that I do act on some of that. You know, I figure there's no harm done in just checking up on somebody or drop them a note and say, hey, is everything okay? You know.
Yeah, Bill says we have 4 in-quicks, but I've got so much stuff on top here. Okay, here, if we go down to the bottom of this list, here we go. Brittany from says, hi, could I please have a love reading? Thank you. And Brittany is from Brittany, I don't see where she's from, but it just says thank you. She'd like a love reading. And so because we don't know if you have someone specific you want us to read on, I always like to know if there's a name. If there is a name, Brittany, please go ahead and type it in the in-quick so I can look at it. But go ahead, Joseph.
Well,
what is your reading for Brittany?
Well, what I picked up in Brittany's past, recent past, or something that still influences her, is that she has the 7 of Swords. And it does mean that maybe she has begun to question her judgment because she has had a lot of responsibilities on her mind in the past and maybe still does. And she's paid a price for not being able to pay attention more to love. And maybe just simply, she didn't have the opportunity or it didn't work out. But I do see in the present time, she has the 8 of Pentacles, which means that she needs to pay attention, and she does need to pay attention more to the people that she meets and to be attentive. And it can't happen quickly. These things grow. Relationships grow sometimes. It doesn't happen just like that. So I will say, I do see that there's a lot of monetary things here in the present day. I'm seeing money issues represented by the 8 of Pentacles. So I do see that you're also in the middle of trying to learn a new trade or perhaps start a business of some sort. So this, again, is just something that you have to divide yourself with, and it's very good that you are working on this. They advise you to apply yourself and to work smart. Be cautious against get-rich-quick schemes. They don't work. Okay? So that's what's dividing you up, though. See, you have the focus on the monetary, and you want the love, but there's not enough time being spent on the love, is what I see. Maybe perhaps you're not available enough. I do see that I do see you still focused on money in the near future, represented by the Six of Pentacles. And I do see that, once again, you are occupied with business and financial plans. So what the cards would have to be, now you can change this very easily. You just simply try to give yourself the time with other people, because people do take time. And if you do that, then all this stuff will get better, really. I do see that for you. Yeah.
Brittany, somebody really hurt you in the past. And it shows this guy was a complete asshole.
Yeah.
It shows that right now, absolutely, he is not coming back into the picture, and you should not let him. Because one of the things that people do sometimes when they break up with someone that they're still in love with is unintentionally they go and pick somebody that looks and acts just like them. And your reading says that right now you are in danger of picking up another asshole. That reading is saying that if you find that you're willing to give somebody from the past a break again, do understand everything will happen just exactly like it did before, and you will get hurt again. If you find somebody that is just like him, and that looks like him, and that acts like him, you're going to get hurt again. However, I'm shown in 3 months, which is June, July, August, the possibility of a wonderful, fertile relationship coming into your life that has growth. And I'm not talking about a pregnant growth. I'm talking about a relationship growth. I feel that this is going to be the one that you are looking for. So what I'm saying is, never look for love when you're lonely, because you're likely to look for a carbon copy of who hurt you, or you're going to be attracted to someone that is just going to be less than you should have. I guess I would also say I went through a stage where I went through several guys with the same name, and they were all Bob. And I went through the Bob stage, and they all had dark hair, dark beards. And my feeling is that you have to be careful that you don't look for carbon copies. And you'll always go, how did that happen? How did that person have the same exact name? Well, because you're still putting out the same frequency for the same kind of man, and it's going to cause you to have rerun episodes of relationships. So be careful of that, and understand that. Put it in the hands of your guides and the universe, and be smart. I see someone better coming into your life, and yes, more money is seen, and that's what I see. Okay, so we're going to go to Russ. Russ is from Ohio.
Hi, Russ.
And he says, how does the next 3 to 6 months look for me? Joe.
Russ. Well, let's see here. I'm looking at your recent past, and I do see the Knight of Cups, and actually I do see that there's been some unfaithfulness, or somebody just wasn't capable of being committed in that situation. And I do see that's in the past. And if it's something that looks like it's happening now, and you think that this relationship is on its way out, Yeah, it really is. It's over and it's moving out. And I do see that those feelings are going away. And you probably, maybe it happened a while back and you're still thinking about it. You know, that will show up too. But I do see here that you're about to get an invitation. It's rather superficial though. It's more about looks, and it's more about, it's not an emotional kind of love. I do see that this is being a very superficial thing, and the person who is giving you this invitation isn't as they appear. Okay, they look great, they look wonderful, but you know, there is more to a person. And I'm not saying that they're not good, I'm just saying that there's more to know here, though. That's still so looks aren't everything, the pretty package isn't everything, but it sure is nice. But you got to make sure what's inside is going to make you feel good, because that's how you know, by how they make you feel inside emotionally. That's how we know. And I do see that down the road we have the Two of Wands, and I do see that you are going to grow with personal power. You're going to get better at this. And I do see that this is very soon. I do see that you have a new adventure, and you will need to act. You know, you need to make a quick decision, and I see that working out really well. Whatever you come up with, it's really the best thing you could have done at the time, given circumstances. So I do see creative ideas and a whole bunch of things coming to you. I'd say, very soon. Two of Wands. You know, it's work. It's work. Wands always are work, and it's good. It's good when they're like this, because I do see perhaps your love is going to come from when you're focused on this creativity, you're going to draw like energy, and that's how you'll meet the right person, because you're going to feel close to them.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a person. You might attract the right client or the right job or the right things that are creatively perfect. Because what I have shows this is the month of, it's showing Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles usually stands for really great financial increase. The next month is seen as the Empress. The Empress usually means that there is somebody coming or something coming into your life that is really going to be, it's just going to make your world rock, whether it be work or a goal or something within a relationship. And for the third month, I show you doing well enough so that you can actually share in a great way with the people that are important to you. Now, obviously, maybe that person is you. Maybe you want to buy yourself a new car or new refrigerator, whatever. But in the case that there is somebody precious around you, I would say this could mean that the next 3 months look great for you. Okay, we have somebody.
July.
Yep. We have Billy.
July.
Billy says and Billy's from Arizona, says a few months ago, I started having feelings that a girl I dated 40 years ago was thinking about me. I had not thought about her for years and have been through 2 marriages since then. Jamie told me that she had recently passed, and I was trying to talk to me from the other side. So I guess the question would be, if from what I'm seeing, is the person that he is getting is Billy getting thoughts from the other side? Or is Billy getting thoughts from somebody that's thinking about him? I'm assuming Billy's a guy, but I don't know for sure.
Well, and that doesn't really matter.
No,
because we are talking about love.
But it's a name. It's a word.
Yeah,
Billy
it's a name.
is androgynous.
Now, And yeah, actually, everybody, all the souls are really. But I do see that the reason why this person wasn't able to find you before, and the reason why is because that there was a bit of unhappiness there. And I do see that even there was this closure to new ideas, and this was a very controlling situation, and it's in the past, but there's a reason why. And things just were not going that way. But I do see the Page of Wands, and I do see in your present day, I do see that this is coming, these feelings are coming from somebody who loves nature and is a very enthusiastic, sort of active person. This courage and strong convictions. This could be somebody in your present life who is alive, who has very strong positive feelings for you. And it's represented by the Page of Wands. This is an active card, and there's a very outgoing nature about this person that has these very fond feelings for you. And I do see that in the present day. And I do see that down the line, that you need to be patient. And I do see that you need to follow some rules sometimes in order to be happy. And so that's what we need to do, because we're all responsible adults. But if you keep that in mind, like make sure that you don't let your debts get out of control, because if you do, you're going to have to deal with them, and pretty soon. So stuff you need to be aware of, that you need to be responsible for.
We have 3 minutes left. 3 minutes I'm going to add to this. So I actually do show that the person that is thinking about you is a woman. She's seen as dark-haired, dark-eyed, going through a very bad time. I'm also shown that she was somebody who had the blessing of seeing a good family, somebody that seemed to be surrounded by a good support system. So it's not like she had a bad life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm shown also. I'm also shown that now she's doing much better. Now I also asked, is she talking to you from the other side, as Jamie said? And I did get a yes. But it also says, and here's what really is crazy, the devil. And it says, watch out for obsessing about a woman on the other side. Obviously, if you are getting, I consider this to be a lot like telepathic love. Telepathic love is often from those that are unable to get close to us in real life. If you allow the dreams, if you allow dreams and fantasies and your constant thinking about someone to be an open portal for them to have free rent in your head or your body, it's not a good thing. So watch out for obsessing about this. Okay, Billy? All right, now we have one.
I want to add to that, just slightly, is that those restrictions I mentioned are that this person is not in this current world, and the person who is in the current world is the one that you're not paying attention to. You see, if you're obsessing about what is gone, you're not going to notice that there is somebody who is alive, who does care, and that's who you should be noticing, okay? That's all.
Okay, we have one more. We have to go really, really fast. Does Dee still have feelings for me, and will he come back? Yes or no? Marie Presley and does not say where she's from. Ask, will Dee still have feelings? Yes or no? Will Dee come back?
Not right away. The person is at rest. There has been a struggle. And if this person comes back, there will be a time period. Okay. I'm not seeing a return
but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Okay, I'm not seeing a return soon. Let's put it that way. Because something has happened where this person, one of you, has gone through a battle of sorts. And I do see that rest is needed. So I would say it's a good chance, but I would say wait because there is much needed rest. Okay, Anne-Marie.
Dee does still have feelings. Dee does still have feelings for you, but Dee has nothing to offer you that would be constructive for your life. Improve your life now. Don't go for Dee. Move on. Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
See you next week, Joe.
See you next week.
You're listening to AchieveRadio.com. A new drummer for a new awakening.